Hello and welcome to Meet Me in Tennessee. I'm your host, Allie, and this podcast is sponsored by the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. You can find us online at northeasttennessee.org and on all social media. And today I'm excited. We're in the studio with Molly Boyd and Jesse Boswell. Molly is a tourism director with the Greene County Partnership, and Jesse is a marketing coordinator with the General Morgan Inn. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
I'm making the drive out from Greeneville. We're excited to talk to y'all. Molly, can you please tell our listeners a little bit about your work with the Greene County Partnership?
Yes. So the Greene County Partnership is a 501c4. Under that umbrella, we house the Chamber of Commerce, Keep Green Beautiful, youth and adult leadership programs, economic developments. We do education and workforce, and my department, which is tourism.
Very cool. And you're kind of somewhat newer, but now settling into this position. So what are some things you like to do around Greene County and Greeneville? What are some things that I guess kind of tie in your relation with tourism and the community?
Yes. Well, personally, one of my favorite hobbies is homesteading. So it's interesting that I came here from a big city, Chattanooga, and come to Greeneville, which is known for agriculture and history. So we like to kind of pop around the different agriculture, agritourism areas.
Yes.
And we've got a few of those here in Greene County. We just did a stint this past fall called Side Road Saturday. So we showcased little mom and pop stores and the different agritourism around them. And so that was kind of fun to do. I also really enjoy hiking and mountain biking as well.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like you settled in a great place for all those things. Greeneville is very known for its agritourism, and mountain biking is kind of on the rise out there as well. Jesse, can you share with our listeners what you do at the General Morgan Inn?
Yeah, I do marketing at the General Morgan.
Very cool. What kind of visitors do you typically see out there?
Gosh, we see all types of visitors. We have our weekend couples that love to explore the history and the agritourism and all the things Molly just mentioned. But we also have a lot of corporate events and corporate people as well that come and, do work. And we also have like a lot of weddings.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we started rolling this episode about weddings. So let's just jump in there. You recently had an event out there. What's that?
Yeah.
Can you tell our listeners about that?
We had a bridal show. So we bring a lot of regional vendors to the hotel, and we get brides to come and really help plan their wedding, and, florists and caterers and even honeymoon travel agency type stuff. And so, really helping people have everything in one stop.
Yeah, that's super cool, Jesse. I think Tennessee is kind of on the rise as a destination for weddings.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the cool thing about the General Morgan is it's such a boutique kind of intimate hotel. We only have 50 rooms, but we have a great ballroom and rooftop terrace. So a lot of times people will come book their wedding and then book out the entire hotel for all their guests. So it's like they take over the hotel for their wedding. It's really cool.
That's crazy. Do you see a lot of people booking in advance?
Oh yeah, people are booking for their 2025 weddings right now because that fall time is just so popular.
Oh, yeah.
And so, people need to get on their wedding booking.
Yes, Greeneville's a beautiful place for fall. So while we're thinking about weddings and things that people come to Greeneville, it kind of sets apart from the rest of Northeast Tennessee. History, landmarks come to mind. What are some historical places that y'all could recommend to visitors who are just coming to Greeneville for the first time?
I mean, I think that definitely we have Andrew Johnson, our
Johnson,
17th president, one of 3 presidents from Tennessee. We have his home place, his first home he bought in Greeneville, what he moved into after he was president. We also have his tailor shop where he worked before he was president. So that's a lot of things that set us apart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a historical destination. And Molly, working with the partnership, do you see that as something like being one of the main assets?
It's a huge draw. And what's interesting is we saw numbers kind of increase when Trump was being impeached, because Andrew Johnson was also another president that was impeached. So we actually had quite a few incomers, because of that, to see the other impeached president, which was
Isn't that interesting?
It was very interesting. So that was a interesting kind of data find. But we've also got Davy Crockett. So he was born here in Greeneville. And so we've got a state park, the Davy Crockett Birthplace State Park.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Davy Crockett in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So we've got that kind of on the outskirts of Greene County. It's really close to my house. Really beautiful. RV parks. It's on the Nollachucky.
Yeah.
They've got a class 3 when it's raining in big water right there, right on the river, and it's just a gorgeous place.
It's a beautiful, beautiful park to visit. And like Molly said, you have the river there. You have hiking trails.
Yep.
There was one time I took my daughter and we saw some river otters just out there. So you have wildlife and they're the cutest babies you've ever seen.
Yep. Apparently, they like to hide up under the dock at night, so you can come check them out. Or if you're paddling down, you'll see them.
And it's just their wild, natural habitat.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so cool.
So cool.
And then you also have some really awesome rural biking out there. So recently we had a program that we met up with some partners and state people coming out, and we did a rural bike ride. And Greeneville's really, really a great place for that.
Yes, and we're ramping up quite a bit with some cycling stuff. So May is Bike Month, National Bike Month. And so we're going to do the same ride. Joe's going to do some more historic bike cycling that month. We got 2 days booked out there. And then then TDT is going to kind of reveal all their rural routes. And so I know Washington and Greene County were one of the first ones that they proposed. And my friend Shannon from Chattanooga actually was the one that routed it, which is pretty cool. So that's going to be revealed
in May.
In May, I believe. I'm not for sure, but that's kind of the proposed date. And so then we're going to kind of piggyback on the back of that with it being Bike Month, doing more of those historic rides. And then we've got some other stuff in the spring coming as well. We have our Wheel Sports Bike Shop. And so we've got e-bikes there and mountain bikes and road bikes. But
this is a local
This is the only bike shop that we have in Greeneville. And so Chris, he's partnering with us with the Bradco, but he's got a bunch of e-bikes, a huge fleet that he just got in. And we're doing some tours. We're going to get some drone shots of doing Paint Creek to Hot Springs.
Oh, that's so exciting,
so it's
Molly.
like a 3-hour ride. So that's another bike cycling thing that we've got going on.
That's very exciting. Keep us up to date on that. And y'all stay tuned about the state's release of those bike trails, because that's going to be huge for our region. So talking about numbers and data a little bit, our 2022 economic impact numbers are in, and I wanted to share them with y'all. So check it out. The economic impact of travel in Greene County for 2022 was $102,926,100. Greene County employed 799 folks in the hospitality and tourism industry, and visitors to Greene County generated $5,556,300 in state taxes and $3,693,100 in local taxes, which is equivalent to $337 in tax savings for every household. That's a lot of numbers. But what that means is the economic impact of travel in Tennessee is actually saving residents on their annual taxes. So Molly and Jesse, can you talk to our listeners a little bit about how increased visitation is having a direct impact on boosting our local economy? You all see it through your establishments, through job creation, like at the General Morgan Inn, in your industries and growth for locals. So what does that look like when you're on the inside of the industry?
So the partnership, the tourism side, we bring in a bunch of events. So the Iris Festival is a big event that we see numbers increase in May. And so that brings in quite a few people into our economy.
Huge event for Greeneville.
It is. It's the number one event that comes in. It's what's interesting is we just got our roadmap from TDTD. And they spoke about the data, so we have Tri-Cities, Knoxville, and Nashville was our first tier of visitors. And so they kind of come during the months of June and July, which was interesting to us because we were like, there's nothing really big there. You would think it would be May. So that was kind of interesting. None of us could really peg out why.
So kind of a domestic traveler.
It was, like a regional kind of traveler. Then we go a little bit wider, and our next tier was Greeneville, South Carolina, Atlanta, and then Chattanooga. And they came during months of the fall, which makes sense because they're the leafers coming up. Right. Yes. And then they were, they stayed for not just day trips, but like 1.5, 2 nights. So that was kind of interesting. that just our natural resources bring people up. But we do have events such as the Iris Festival. We had some new events this year. The GM Truck Show brought in some people. I mean, I met 2 guys that came up from Florida just because they loved, I guess, the products and the things that they were promoting at this truck show.
And then we kind of simultaneously have the car museum.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. We do have the
City Car Garage Museum, which is it's one of a kind antique cars. Y'all should definitely check it out.
Yes,
It's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. But like you were saying, yeah, the tourism, it brings in people from all around. They come, they spend more money than they would in their own town because they're staying in lodging, spending more money there. They're eating out. So it's a nice boost in our local economy. And it helps vendors around. You know, it helps the General Morgan. It helps retail shops. So we've actually got this fun, I'm going to do a little plug right now. We've got this fun new passport that we actually rolled out this past fall. And so this is your one-stop guide to everything Greeneville. So we partnered with the Greeneville Sun to do this. And so we've got our top 10 experiences, we like to call them. And what's cool is our locals actually voted for this and put them in there.
That's awesome.
It'll rotate throughout the years, but this is like a little bit of everything. And we've heard so much just greatness from the locals about it. Like, I never knew, I've been here my whole life, and I never knew this was here because new shops pop up, and we've got them in here. And so it's just
the Greeneville passport.
Mm-hmm.
So where could folks find those?
So we have them at every one of our 10 experiences. If you don't happen to stumble upon one, they're at the General Morgan, they're at the Greene County Partnership. She'll find them around, but the General Morgan or the Partnership's a great place to grab one.
Awesome. And I love that you said the community had a chance to vote on those. So there's a direct example of how community is involved in visitors that are coming to the state. And Jussie, how do you see that at the General Morgan Inn, being in hospitality, visitors and the community kind of having things that bring them together in Greeneville?
I see. You know, we are always having a lot of events that brings the locals in. It brings tourists in as well.
Right.
You know, one thing that I find really exciting about more tourists and more people coming to Greeneville is, you know, just the more options around town. You know, more people are opening up their own businesses, more places to eat, more places to shop. You know, I think that's something that's really exciting.
And y'all have Brumley's Restaurant.
Yes, we
and
do.
that's open to everybody.
Yeah, we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 5 to 9. We're going to be doing a brunch on February 4th, which is great.
Yeah.
We had one just recently that was very successful. We do them in tandem with the impact shows, the Nassau Performing Arts Center shows.
Awesome.
So when they have a show on a Sunday, we open up for brunch, but we only do it really then. But we're also going to be having a you know, bubbly from around the world event that's coming up, as well as champagne tasting too.
Very cool. So some one-of-a-kind unique events there at Brumley's and the General Morgan Inn.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought up Niswonger Performing Arts Center, because that's another unique place in Greeneville where you can go for arts and culture. They have awesome concerts going on year-round. Thanks, y'all, for sharing your insight on that. So also, when we're thinking about hospitality and history in Greeneville, how do you feel like places like the General Morgan Inn, and we think of like the Andrew Johnson Cemetery, how do these places kind of create a sense of place within Greeneville and Greene County, and a chance to share our Appalachian culture?
It's really cool how deep the history goes in Greeneville. I think that really being able to look back into the history and see, you know, how they grew or what their struggles were and compare it to today, you know, it really kind of makes you appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah.
And I think
Definitely.
that one thing that's really cool is we have a really awesome historical library where people can go. If they have any sort of connections to Greeneville, they can dive into their family history.
Yeah.
I've spent all day at that place. It's so great. And, you know, really, you know, get a feel of what it was like to live during those days. We also have the Dixon Williams Mansion that's completely set to that 1800s feel. So if you ever want to take a tour of that, they do that most of the year, every day at 1 o'clock, leaving from the lobby. You can, you know, really experience that time period. It's set back, and they do really extensive tours. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's another good segue that we see is people come in for genealogy. And I think Greeneville, along with historic Jonesboro, are two main destinations for that.
They have done such a good job preserving a lot of stuff.
Oh, they sure have. And the what was the place that you mentioned folks could go and learn more about?
The Elmer T. Cox Historical Library.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in downtown-ish Greeneville?
It is. It's
Okay.
on North Main Street. I think one of the funnest things is they have a bunch of old phone books you can go look at, and the phone numbers are only 4 digits long.
Now, is that the building that shares with the museum that has like the old artifacts and?
So we have the Greene County History Museum that's going to be on next to the Car Museum, closer to South Main Street. Kind of on one side of the General Morgan, then on the other side of the General Morgan is going to be your historical library.
So you heard it there. The General Morgan is your pinpoint for all the historical things in Greeneville. Molly, since settling into your position, how have you witnessed the tourism industry's impact on a rural destination like Greeneville? We can think in terms of direct visitor spending, economic impact, and any kind of partnerships that your organization works with, being specifically a rural destination. And I think you kind of touched on that, thinking about agritourism.
I did a little bit with the agritourism, and that's kind of when I came on in August. That's one of the first things that we did was kind of boost up the economy that's on the outskirts. And so that was kind of a cool project that we did with agritourism.
Yeah. Are you able to share about that project?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had 3 main mom and pops, and what's so cool is all of them have a longevity to them, either family history or it's just been passed to different owners. I actually live really close to one of them. We started with the Raytown Country Store, which is known for its bluegrass.
Yeah.
And so people come down there to pick from all over, from like West Virginia. And it's a good sized store. It's kind of like an L, but you'll find 3 different bands like just crammed in there because everyone wants to play, and it's very casual. It's really cool. It has a great family feel.
It's a staple of Greene County.
It is.
And
It's
growing
been
up in
there
the
for
area,
so long.
it's like we didn't know how lucky we were just to have any bluegrass music playing on the weekends.
Yeah, and so I can actually hear it from my house, which is kind of cool. So that was one of the ones that we started with. We also did the Funny Farm and Horse Creek Dairy. So we brought those in. We did this during the fall time. And we did that because it's such a great time for the agritourism with the pumpkins and the corn mazes and all that kind of stuff and the hay rides. And so that's what we did there. Then we moved down to St. James, which is an amazing, cute community. So St. James, we went to Cotton's, and Connie and Ralph redid that store from top to bottom. And they did an amazing job. And it's actually been in Connie's family for like 50 years, 50 plus. So she picked it back up here, a decade or 2 later, fixed it up. So we encourage people to go to Cotton's and then also check out Two Roots Alpaca Farm. So we've got a really cool farm, fiber mill. And I don't know how many alpacas they have, but they've got quite a bit. And so they process it all there. They've got yarn that you can purchase there. It's really cool. And then we went down to Mohawk. Pettit's, which is also a family-owned. It's a family of 7 different people that are owners in it, which is pretty neat. And then we coupled that with Myers Farm and their pumpkin patch and all that kind of stuff in the fall.
Thank you for sharing that. That kind of stuff gets me so excited. It's like proud to be Appalachian because there's so much more than just like the middle of the downtown areas. I mean, the downtowns are awesome and they're revitalizing. And then as you branch out, you have like Davy Crockett State Park and then the Alpaca Farm and places like this. Are these places listed in the passport? Any of these kind of rural areas?
They are. Yep. I think all of them are.
Awesome. So that would be a good way if you're interested in that. And also at the Alpaca Farm, do they do hiking or is this a different place I'm thinking of?
It's a different place.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this it's more of a farm. That's a different alpaca place. Actually, I think that's a llama place.
So you have llama farms, you have alpaca farms. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Pick up some local wool and support your farmers out there while you're visiting these establishments. Jesse, thinking of these rural destinations and these activities out here that folks can venture off to do you see a need for visitors when they're staying at General Morgan Inn to have this type of information available of things to do in the area?
So we keep the passport in every one of our rooms, so you don't even have to venture down to the front desk to grab one. There's one right in your room. There's all of our information we have. Our front desk is amazing on helping people figure out, where to go to eat, where to go to adventure. We try to help people out as much as we can.
Yeah. Are there any questions or things to do that you see from people that ask most frequently?
Gosh, they can come and grab the passport out of their rooms. We don't have the events in there, but we have a list of things they can do. We always have our front desk ladies that are very knowledgeable about what's going on around town or where to eat or where to go. They know everything, and so we try to keep them up to date.
Sure.
And yeah.
Awesome. And you mentioned maybe some historic tours that are right there around the area.
So we have the downtown tour. They mostly just happen during the spring, summer, early fall, because it does get really cold. But that downtown tour is very great. We have people that have been in town very long time that know a lot about all the buildings and all the landmarks, and about an hour and a half long. It's $5. You just get so much information for that amount of money. But they'll take you around. There's a downtown tour that happens at 9:30 in the morning. There's also the Dixon Williams Mansion tour that happens at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They stop them during the winter, but during the spring, summer, and fall, they're happening every day.
Awesome. That sounds like a great opportunity to get out and explore some culture around Greeneville.
Yeah.
So Molly and Jesse, thank you so much again for coming on today. I wanted to switch it up just a little bit and talk about kind of the industry side of things. So Molly, you attended Career Quest in 2023, which is a local event here that connects high school students with the hospitality and tourism industry. I'm just kind of curious if you don't mind to share what your experience was like with that event and how you think that these types of programs can have a direct impact on our community.
Yeah. Well, it was a great event. I think it was in its year 2, right?
Yeah.
So I was privileged to be on one of the panel speakers. We did an interesting trivia for the kids, which I thought was really great because sometimes it's hard to get young kids engaged and to stay awake and pay attention. So we kind of did a fast-paced trivia where they could utilize their phones and win prizes. So we had just swag from all over the region. We brought gummy bears with Banjo Bears, so we were kind of promoting Banjo, our new little mascot. And so that was a hit to engage kids with sugar, sweets, and treats.
The gummy bears were a big hit.
They were a big hit. But I think that we had some interesting responses on the survey in the aftermath, and I think the kids really liked that. They loved the fashion show that we were into. We had an interesting what to wear to something tourism and what not to wear. We had some spoofs too, which was kind of cool. That was a great insight to them. And I think when you think about tourism when you're younger, you think, oh, Dollywood, Disney World, all that kind of stuff. But it's literally in every town. And like you said, it's saving $1,100 per household here in Tennessee. And so it brings quite an impact. And the cool thing about Tennessee is we were 22nd out of 95 counties. Greene County was 22nd out of 95 counties, which is pretty cool. And so you can see the influx of tourism coming back since COVID. But we do need more industry leaders.
Absolutely.
And so bringing kids up and saying, hey, did you know that culinary or working in hospitality or, even doing marketing media or being a ranger, all of that brings so much to our economy here that I guess they wouldn't quite understand or know unless we were there and kind of teaching about it. So,
and I think with tourism kind of on the rise, this event kind of gives us a location to show them what we do in real time, like the fashion show and being able to show them how to dress for a job. I remember being that age and just like, I'm wearing sweats and a hoodie, you know? So to actually see how fun our industry is, and it's bringing jobs to the state. It's saving residents' taxes. Something you might not so care about at that age, but to just see the fun aspect of it, I think events like that are super important for our youth. Providing them that hands-on experience.
That's so true, though, because when we think about jobs and adulting, it's like pencil pushing and just being on the computer. And it's like, no, you can be outside. You can be engaging with people. If you have the gift for gab, you can be an interpreter, for.
This might be a great industry for you if you have the gift of gab. Customer service. And then also, General Morgan Inn, do you all have like a youth program or anything of that nature? Will you take people in for the industry? Maybe in their first jobs, working at Brumley's or things of that nature?
Oh, yeah. So we do have 18 plus to work at the hotel, but we get entry-level people into the dishwashing. They'll work their way up into the kitchen. We do people that have a passion for cooking. We can go ahead and get them into the kitchen. Customer service, we have the front desk, which is a really great first job for a lot of people. And then even if they, want to be around it, but they don't necessarily want to interact with people, we always have like housekeeping and maintenance too,
Well, sure. And that brings up another point. I think all of us in this industry started somewhere. I remember washing dishes on my first waitressing job.
Yeah.
I started as a hostess, and then you work your way up incrementally and think, oh my goodness, what a fun industry. Look where it's led to us now.
Yeah. And, I started at the front desk, and right now I'm doing a podcast,
For sure. Would y'all mind talking about some of your first experiences in hospitality or customer service?
Yeah. It's so funny because as you're speaking about that, I was like, it wasn't a job, but it was like working with my best friend, and her mom or her grandmother owned Lake Winnie. And so we would go down there. We're in 4th grade. We're like ripping tickets and giving it to people. But that was hospitality.
Yeah.
Right? That was like tourism.
Molding you into this professional.
And we did it like on the weekends for like, every now and then. It was like really just to go and ride tours. But that was 4th grade, And so it was so fun. But then after that, I remember working at Rock City on Lookout Mountain. I was 15 and I worked in one of their gift shops and did that for a little while, which is also tourism. So it's crazy.
I mean, that's the heart of
tourism.
tourism.
You're in it. Yeah, exactly.
When you're engaging.
I know.
Yeah. Engaging with those folks face to face. I mean, that's where it all starts. That's what leads them to have their experience here.
And I just love sitting at the front desk and having people come up and ask me what to do. That was my favorite. Oh, I'll tell you where you need to go, where you need to eat, And so, but I love the people that are like, well, what restaurants would you recommend? And then there's some people like, what's your favorite restaurant? I'm like, oh, I'll tell you.
Oh, and it always comes back to the great debate of has the best barbecue.
Yeah,
it's true. Are there any good places to eat in Greeneville that y'all want to share? Some of these up and coming mom and pop stops?
Well, I'm very, I love recommending Brumley's. I think it's just such a cool atmosphere. We have something for everybody. And so I definitely recommend if you're coming to Greeneville, you stay at the Joan Morgan, you've got to try Brumley's.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. I think the 3 that I spoke about, Cotton's, Raytown, and Pettit's, those are great ones on the outskirts. I often go to the Tannery because it's literally down the road from me, so I'll just walk down.
It's our halfway point.
It's our halfway point. Just we'll meet there and we'll have a lunch date.
Yeah.
So it's so great.
What is the Tannery? I've not been there yet.
Sandwich shop.
Mm-hmm. Sandwich soups and salads.
Gosh, and they've been in business probably 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
A long time.
So it's a staple.
They have
longevity.
They have a lot of historical photos too.
Oh, cool. And there's something in Greeneville you can get. It's kind of like a pie or something like that. Does that ring any bells?
I don't know.
Elena had told me about it. It's like a Dutch pie or something.
Dutch made pie.
Dutch made pie.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a Greeneville thing?
They're made in Greeneville. Yeah.
Okay.
Another great place to eat is going to be Tipton's. It's going to be right behind the hotel on Depot Street. They've also been in business for forever, and they have great breakfast food. I mean, it's literally like you step into the restaurant and you're in someone's kitchen.
No way.
That's
Is it
how
like
it
one of
feels.
those good
Long
diner?
long diner, watch them cook kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really cool. They have
Tipton's for diner breakfast.
Yeah, and they have a really cool old cash register. That thing has to be from like the 30s or 40s.
Those things are so cool. Like where you used to go.
Yeah. It's huge.
I remember my great grandfather had one, and I was always just like messing around. That's really cool. So some great places to eat. We've talked about the outdoors already. I just wanted to touch about when we're talking about our outdoors. So we have the Nolichucky River in Greene County. We have like Paint Creek bike trails. You were talking about how soon there will be like e-bikes and things of that nature. When we're promoting our outdoors to visitors of Tennessee, we also want to promote the importance of sustainability and conservation, and trail etiquette, because these might be folks who come out and they're not used to what it's like to bike on a trail. And you're a mountain biker, Molly, so maybe you can speak on this, and Jesse, you're welcome to hop in as well. Can you each provide one piece of advice to our listeners when recreating to our area here in the Appalachian Mountains of how to take care of the trails and leave it as you found it?
Yeah, so leave no trace is a great principle, which has got so many different steps. I think a big thing about utilizing the trail, whether you're mountain biking or hiking, is not to do it in the rain, because it really kind of shifts the trail. And so it's kind of frowned upon.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yes.
Because when I first started biking, it doesn't just click unless you've been doing it. And after you've been doing it, you can see going out in the rain on these trails puts ruts in them. And it's a lot of volunteer hours to fix those trails.
It is.
So that's a great piece of advice. If it's raining, just stick to hiking, or
Yep.
we don't want to ride our bikes in the rain. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
With trail etiquette. So it's funny because when I was thinking about trail etiquette, when I go hiking, I go out to like kind of be in nature. And so, or just even at parks too. You go to parks and I think about just noise pollution. I know that's like a real life thing when it comes to the beach and like motorboats and stuff like that for, the megafauna. But I think about like going out and you're not like blasting music, when you're like hiking. So on the AT, that's kind of an etiquette thing as well.
Sure.
Is
That's
not
a great
blasting music because you can't really get away from it if it's like echoing through the valley. So that's kind of what I think about as well. It's like,
I think that's a great one, and it's kind of something people don't talk about too much if you're out there to experience what the forest has to offer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jesse, any thoughts on that?
Well, it's good that Molly and I are together because she's the outdoor girl and I'm the indoor girl. She's going to tell you everything you need to know about hiking and biking and indoor, and I am your history. Let's go shop around downtown.
That's why we brought y'all here. Y'all make a great team.
We do.
Our two ladies out here promoting Greeneville. So on a previous episode of Meet Me in Tennessee, we hosted some guests from Johnson City and Elizabethton and kind of talking about the art renaissance that's happening in our region. And that was a very exciting topic. We're seeing lots of new murals pop up. If you'll notice on your drive home to Greeneville, a lot of these transformer boxes have been painted or coated.
Cool.
And there's just something about that brings a sense of place right here to the community. So anything on the radar for arts around Greeneville? We talked about impact a little bit. Anything else y'all like to share?
So that's a great point. Impact, we've got a lot of theater art. So Impact has a bunch of shows. I think that goes from, I think they're about to start a new year after. Actually, they followed the calendar year for schools, August to June, I believe it is. But we've got the Appalachian Auditorium. So that's in St. James. It was an old elementary school that they use their auditorium. It's adorable. It's so cool. I went to a Celtic show there out of Knoxville, and it was amazing. It was so cool.
There's a connection with the Appalachian Celtic music.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yes, that's pretty
I'm
much what they were
obsessed with
talking
it.
about. And it like, oh my gosh, I got so jazzed up because I've got that history within my genealogy. So I loved it. It was so cool. So they've got their auditorium there. We've got the Capitol Theater right down the street from the General Morgan Inn,
which is a very, very, very cool historic theater.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
it
awesome.
is. And they play movies there. So they've got a lineup of movies and concerts. We've actually got a concert that we're sponsoring on Thursday, March 21st. A Jess Lee concert. She was on The Voice. She's a new country pop singer that's up and coming in Nashville. So it's a free concert.
And that's at the Capitol?
It's at the Capitol.
Cool.
Yep.
And when was that again?
Thursday, March 21st.
Okay.
And it's free. And she's doing an acoustic set.
Cool.
So there's the Capitol Theater. And Impact also does a lot for youth. They've got a youth camp in the summertime as well. And then we've got Tusculum University, DeBrist.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure I get her name right. We've got DeBrist Theater. So they do a bunch there. We just had the ballet do Rapunzel here this past couple weeks. So they do a lot there in the theater arts. And then Jesse will take it away with the Art Council and the General Morgan. There's one there.
We love the Art Council. They do such a good job. So we have a rotating art gallery that changes every month in the lobby of the General Morgan Inn. We call it the Mason House Gallery. And we also have the Greene County Makers, which is a company that does a lot of art classes. And it's like artists that get together and, do things. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I know Elizabethton has something similar with the arts councils. And these volunteers who come together like really, really make things happen for our communities in the art scene. And asking that question, I've learned so much just from this that I didn't know about the arts in Greeneville. Huge theater destination.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then also we have an improv group that comes to the Capitol once a month.
So cool.
Yeah.
I also love that you said Impact gives back to like the youth scene. So that's just another direct impact of tourism that connects our local community together.
And Tusculum does that too. They have shows for the youth as well.
I didn't think about Tusculum. Yeah.
Tusculum does as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Molly and Jesse, if you will, please just take a moment to share where folks can learn more about the Greene County Partnership and General Morgan Inn, your website, social media, and any upcoming events additionally to what we've talked about that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so you can hear more about us at discovergreeneville.com, and we've got Discover Greeneville on our Instagram handle, and then the Greene County Partnership on Facebook as well.
So we're generalmorganin.com. We're General Morgan on Facebook, it's Instagram as well. We have a lot of exciting events coming up. Like I said, we have brunch coming up on Sunday. We also are going to be having the Bubbly from Around the World night, 5 different champagnes from all around the world, 5 different courses that have been paired with our executive chef. He tried the wines and was getting so much inspiration. It's going to be really cool. But you can call us to make reservations, 423-787-7510 for that, and all the information is on our website. We're also going to be doing a really cool Valentine's Day special, so we have room packages that include a bottle of champagne, chocolate-covered strawberries, and we're also going to be having a special menu in the restaurant on the 10th, 13th, and 14th. Oh, and then also our Bubbly from Around the World is going to be on February 9th. I forgot to say that, but so we're going to have a special menu, and then all those days, the 9th, 10th, 13th, 14th, we're going to be having live music in the lobby as well. We're going to have guitarists and piano players, and so whenever you stop by the hotel, there's so much stuff happening, and we're getting ready to start putting everything together for a new menu in Brumlings. So all new menu items by our new chef. It's going to be really cool, and then we're going to be doing some stuff for St. Patrick's Day as well.
Oh my goodness, so much happening.
Yes.
Very exciting. And for all of these dinner nights that you mentioned, these are reservation only?
Yes.
Okay.
They can come by for brunch. We do prefer reservations for brunch, but they can stop by. But definitely for the Bubbly night as well as the Valentine's Day night, they'll need to make reservations. And they can call 423-787-7500 to make those reservations at the restaurant.
And Molly, any upcoming events or happenings that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, so I mentioned the Jess Lee concert. That's our next thing coming up March 21st. It is free at the Capitol Theater. After that, we've got NAIA, the volleyball, the women's volleyball that's coming here. So we've got new volleyball courts that are beach volleyball that are at Kinser Park. So that's a big event that's happening. It's actually happening the same time during our Porsche event, which is happening at the General Morgan Inn. And that's kind of cool. And so that's bringing an event in that's also going to help agritourism outside of just downtown Greeneville.
For sure.
They're going to do a poker run. And so they're going to go to different little mom and pop shops to get their card. And
what a cool idea.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
And so we had the idea of bringing them out because they do their poker run, but we want them not to just run through, but actually like experience Greeneville and the culture of it all. So we're having them stop at those side road Saturday stops. So those are 2 big events in April, like literally the same weekend.
Huge car scene out there.
Yeah.
You talked about the Saturday stops. That's a big deal around here.
And then we've got the Bradco event. So this is my like big monster that we're working on that has been really fun. We're doing the bike ride across Greene County. And so it was typically coupled right after the Iris Festival on that Sunday. Well, we've moved it 2 weekends prior, and we're doing it on Cinco de Mayo, so we're calling it Cinco de Bradco. So it's going to be really fun. The rides are still the same length. We got 3 different lengths of it. When they come back, when the cyclists come back, we're going to have a kind of like a fun little festival at our partnership parking lot. We're going to have a food truck, margaritas, and music there. And so we're also going to have a kids bike rodeo in the corner of our parking lot too. So it'll be kid friendly as well. So that's the big Bradco that we're really excited about. And then 2 weeks later, we'll have the Iris Festival that we talked about, which is a huge draw. And then we've got a new festival this year, which I'm really psyched about. And we haven't even fully published it yet. But we are partnering with the Cherokee National Forest. And so, yes. And so we are doing a Firefly Festival of sorts. So we are doing it June 1st and June 8th. And so it's a viewing on Viking Mountain. And it's going to be, there's 2 different locations, one for higher clearance vehicles. And so we have such limited parking, we're going to do a lottery. So for those 2 nights, at both locations. We're going to have interpreters out there that talk about the different types of fireflies. We've got the blue ghost fireflies and the synchronicity fireflies. Synchronized. I know. Synchronized.
I think we should just roll it.
Synchronicity.
They are synchronized fireflies, and we love them here.
They're in their synchronized formations, and so
It's truly a sight to see.
I'm so excited.
it's going to be really fun.
The Smokies are known for the fireflies, but
Yes.
secretly we have them here.
We-
Not secretly,
we
but
have them like across the whole Appalachian corridor. And so it's funny because, you know, the Cherokee is divided between the Smokies, but there's a few other places that do it. I think Virginia has a few fireflies, and Kentucky, and I know the Smokies do, but there's like such a demand of wanting to see them.
yeah.
And so we're going to capitalize on that this year. We're doing it kind of in controlled situations, so we're not damaging, you know, the biology and ecology of the fireflies, because a few weeks later they're having their bio blitz, which is really cool, where they test and see kind of, you know, all that stuff there. So it'll be really fun. So we're doing that Firefly Festival. The cool thing about the Firefly Festival is we're pairing artists with it. So instead of doing the Iris Festival, which is kind of a booth craft festival, we're going to do an online silent auction.
Cool.
So we've got a pool for Appalachian artists, whether any kind of medium. We've got George Wursel, who does the woodwork. He's going to put a firefly on his wood stuff. We've got an oil painter from Chattanooga. So we've got other people, some glass artists from Unicoi. So pretty much
very
right
cool.
now, we're looking for artists that would be willing to donate a piece of art for media recognition. And we're going to boost their page, their Instagram, in order to kind of sell some of their art during that week that we showcase them. And then silent auctions sell their art, which will benefit 100% to the Friends of the Cherokee National Forest.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be the viewing is a separate event from the art. The art's all online and promotional, so.
Well, and then, you know, also the $1 million question is a lot of people call them fireflies, but a lot of people call them lightning bugs.
Yeah,
We talked about
Jesse.
this.
Yeah.
Good point.
What do you call them, Allie?
Lightning bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do too, but it's like Firefly Festival. We made a shirt. I showed Jesse. It's really cute. It's 2 firefly lightning bugs. So we might do it. It's more for like kind of the youth, but we've got our shirt. We've got our like all of our stuff ready to go. And
What do you call them, Jesse? Now I'm curious.
Lightning bugs.
Lightning bugs all day.
I
bugs.
know.
Hey, I
I
grew up.
asked my family because I couldn't remember, and I was like, "What do we call these things?" I sent them a picture, and they're like lightning bugs.
But then, you know, as a
Yeah.
graphic designer, I like Firefly better because it
Yeah.
looks better
It's
graphically.
the alliteration. I know that's why we're doing
Right, but
Firefly Festival.
growing up, it was barefooting and lightning bugs
Yeah, it
and
was.
mason jars.
It
Yeah,
was.
and mason jars.
It was, and that is so exciting. Thank you for sharing that with us. That really pumps me up, and also just makes me want to reiterate when coming to visit these places, and especially our national forests, to please practice leave no trace ethics, because lightning bugs are a sacred part of
Yeah.
our
No
forests
mason
here.
jars. You can't bring your mason jars.
Yeah. But yeah, any other events that you want to share?
That's what's going on spring and summer. We've got quite a bit in the fall, but we might get to that in another episode. Our October's so heavy with events. And then we've got the Outdoors Writers Fest that's coming up to Johnson City that we're a part of.
Yep.
That we're really excited, and that's in July.
We're
So
super excited for that.
That's going to be a fun one.
So if folks did want to stay tuned for events, they can look at Greene County Partnership's website.
Yep, or Discover Greeneville.
Discover Greeneville. Okay, cool. Well, y'all heard it here. Get to Greeneville. Check out all this fun stuff going on. Molly, Jesse, thank you both for being here, and thank you for all you do for tourism and our communities. Appreciate y'all. And to our listeners, for upcoming events and happenings in Northeast Tennessee, be sure to follow us on social media and check out the website at northeasttennessee.org, where there is more up here to do, see, and be when you meet me in Tennessee. Thanks for tuning in.